Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the largest gated community in North America, spanning 26,000 acres in the Ouachita Mountains in south central Arkansas. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and some occasional guests as we explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. HSV Inside Out is sponsored by Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there. Also sponsored by McGraw Realtors, located in the heart of Hot Springs Village, the fastest growing real estate office with over 30 agents and staff. Executive brokers Lori and Ken Henderson, along with realtor and waterfront specialist Rick Marshall, they're eager to share the special features of Hot Springs Village with you. For a complimentary relocation packet, call Ken and Lori at 501-276-3018 or Rick Marshall at 501-601-RICK. They are McGraw Realtors of Hot Springs Village. Welcome to Hot Springs Village Inside Out, the website, the online show. My name is Randy. I appreciate you joining me today. Going to answer a question. It's one of the bigger questions that we get, and that is our story, our journey of how we even came to land inside Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Now, keep in mind, you are in good company, and you are likely somewhere between 60 and 70 years old. Yes, you could be early, you could be younger than that, you could be older than that. It's perfectly okay. But the majority of people that I hear from, they're you, 60 to 70 years old, planning to retire or have already retired and looking for the next place to land. You are interested in big trees and mountains. You obviously are in love with low cost of living, so you're looking to maximize your dollars. You are likely in some part of the country where the real estate is going to play to your favor when you sell the old home place, no matter how long you've been there. We had been in our place for over 25 years in Dallas-Fort Worth. And clearly, the economics of real estate in Dallas-Fort Worth versus the economics of real estate here in Hot Springs Village, they're very different. It was favorable to sell in that market and come and buy in this market. And for everybody that I hear from, that's your case as well. It's at least it's what you're looking for. So with that context in mind, let's go ahead and I'll share the journey and the story, and I'll try not to belabor too much of this, and we'll just kind of hit the high points here, and I'm happy to dive in future episodes, however deeply you would like me to. The great thing about this podcast and the way things have progressed is I don't have to worry about what kind of content you want because you tell me. And I'm super appreciative of that. So keep on telling me. Use that contact form over at the website. Any other way that you care to. Email, text, direct message through social media platforms. I don't care. Any communication is good communication. Without going into too much detail, in the fall of 2018, Rhonda and I made our first visit to Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. And the way that came about was because we typically would have gone to the Ozarks somewhere. However, the Ozarks, it was 8 hours plus away from where we lived in Dallas-Fort Worth. I didn't want to drive that far. We were going to take maybe 3 days. I didn't want to spend 1 day driving there and 1 day driving back. That didn't seem worthwhile. So we were planning this a couple of months ahead of time. So it would have been about the summer of 2018, and we were scheduling this for sometime in early fall. We were planning to make this trip sometime after Labor Day, after the Labor Day weekend. I can't remember the circumstances of why then, but that was the timeline for us. there is an important elephant in the room that you should know because it may contribute to the story. I don't know. Has your family ever gone through anything? Yeah, well, of course you have. You've gone through all kinds of things. Maybe it was a health challenge, relationship issues and challenges, financial challenges. As married couples and as families, we go through all kinds of challenges. When we booked our trip to Hot Springs Village, and to back up, the only way that I found it was just pure accident. I was looking for a place that was 6 hours or less away from DFW. So I kind of pulled up Google Maps and kind of drew this circle, and I'm looking and I'm thinking big trees and mountainous terrain. You know, how could I find kind of sort of what the Ozarks gave me, but not drive that far? That's what led me to Hot Springs Village. I'd heard of Hot Springs, wasn't all that interested. I knew there was a horse track there. I'm not a gambling guy, so that held no interest for me. And I'm not real big on, touristy places. I knew Hot Springs. I knew it had a reputation back in the, 30s, 40s, and 50s, kind of being this gangster place that they would go for respite, especially, the Chicago mobsters would go. I mean, the history of Hot Springs is notable and really intriguing. But that wasn't the trip I wanted to make. No offense to Hot Springs. I love going over there. We go over there frequently. I just, on this particular trip, that wasn't the box I was trying to check. So I'd never heard of Hot Springs Village. And I was a bit confused. Okay, Hot Springs Village. Is Hot Springs Village just kind of some suburb of Hot Springs? What is this? I have no idea. And then I read gated community. Okay, well, is this hoity-toity? I'm not interested in that. And I did enough research to figure out it was intriguing enough, located in kind of in the midst of the Ouachita Forest in south central Arkansas. I mean, come on, you say forest and you got my attention. So we book an Airbnb and we come over and we go through the gate, and immediately I'm kind of, okay, I have no idea I knew there was a gate. I knew I had to check in. I knew I had to give them our name and the name of the Airbnb host. And so we did all that and got in, and we were probably no more than 3 or 4 miles into the village. Now, to give you some idea, if you come in one gate, the east gate or the west gate, you are about 14 miles away from the other gate, and you are going to be on DeSoto Boulevard. It's the main kind of thoroughfare that kind of bisects the village. And you think, okay, 14 miles, that's okay. Well, that's, it's not a short distance, but it's not insanely long. So I don't know. I mean, what's that going to take? 15 minutes? No, it's going to take closer to 30 minutes. Because it's Arkansas. It's a lot of hills and a lot of left turns and right turns and windy roads. We did not venture very deep into the village that first visit. And our family was going through something. The something that we were going through is unimportant, except when we booked the trip, we weren't going through it. It had not reared its head at that point. It reared its head Labor Day weekend. And now we were about a week away from the trip. You could say, oh man, what awful timing. No. It was great timing. Rhonda and I absolutely needed a respite. We needed a place to go and to think and to pray and to walk some more and walk some more and talk some more and pray some more. And that's how we spent about 3 days, roughly. Couple of days, couple of nights. And we walked the trails. I had gone and gotten a map from the Chamber of Commerce that kind of showed where the trails were. And we drove to these and we walked to those. Had no idea how big this place was. Had no idea these streets that you've seen me walk where you can kind of create your own. No idea that you could do that. Had no idea that there were hundreds of little neighborhoods around. I knew there were that many golf courses, but I didn't go check them all out because I'm not a golfer. I knew there were that many lakes, but I didn't go check those out. Drove past a few. We were staying on a lake that very first trip. Had a perfectly lovely time, albeit there was this huge dark cloud over us as a family in what we were going through. That may have some context here because there may be some value to when we find a place and whatever's going on in our life. You ever had this happen to you? Of course, we've all had this happen to us. Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was a place. It could have even been a thing. And when that enters our life and we're going through something, there may be some significant attached to that otherwise would not be. I don't know. I'm theorizing. It prompted us to make more visits. The dark cloud hanging over our family continued to hang over our family, but we coped with it. We dealt with it. And it was one of those kind of coping things, and you've had this happen in your life. Some things you can overcome. There are things that you can fix, and there's an awful lot of things that you can't fix. You just have to grind it out and endure it. Our problem was the latter. Our problem was a problem that we weren't going to fix. We were just going to have to figure out, how are we going to cope with this? How are we going to live with this? How are we going to endure this? And we did. We came to terms and we figured some things out. And we continued to make treks over to Hot Springs Village. At no point at this part in the journey were we even thinking about coming over here, moving here. We weren't and still aren't thinking about retirement. We were thinking about hitting retirement age, but that's another story. It became our favorite place to come to. So much so that it became our exclusive place to come to. We haven't been to the Ozarks since before 2018. Not saying I won't go back, but I'm not one of those traveling Jesse kind of people. Rhonda would travel more if she had a husband who was willing, but she didn't. She married a husband who loves to be at home. And so we kept coming back and we kept coming back, and our favorite places, my favorite places, were golf courses. I don't play golf, but I like looking at them. And so we would stay at different places. We ended up, over the course of a couple of years, settling in on kind of two favorite places. And I'm planning to have both of these hosts on the show. I'm working on it. One, they're kind of shy, and the other one, well, they're traveling all the time. So trying to catch them in town has been a challenge. They are both on golf courses, and they both had bedroom suites. That was our thing. It's just the two of us. We just wanted a king-size bedroom suite that had a nice little kitchenette, and that's it. That's it. These became our two favorite places that we would return to, and we would return to. And during COVID, we came a lot. We came a lot. I don't remember how many times we came that year, but I'm going to guess 6. I don't know. It was a fair number. At some point in one of those visits, we're sitting on a back patio, and we're looking at the golf course, and I say to Rhonda, I could spend a lot of time here. And she said, I could too. And that was that. I mean, that was the genesis for the whole thing of now thinking, what if we bought something over here? And initially we're thinking a lot. What if we bought a lot? Now, we don't have our house for sale, but nothing. None of that has happened yet. And I'd love to tell you what year this was, but Rhonda could probably tell us, but I can't remember. So after I could spend a lot more time here conversation, we began to really look at lots, not with the intent of let's find one to buy, but if we were to buy a lot, what kind of a lot would we buy? Now over here And you've heard Brandon Tedder say it in a recent episode. Really, really smart. Call Brandon. Look at lots. Look to your heart's content. But don't buy one. If you're thinking about building on a lot, don't buy one yet. Call Brandon. Connect with Brandon Tedder, Renaissance Homes, and let Brandon survey it and tell you, listen, it may look gorgeous and it may be great, but it may have an incline, built for billy goats. And you could build on that. You can build on most anything. Every lot in here is buildable, that's for sure. That doesn't mean it's cost effective. And as Brandon, I think, said in the show, you could be looking at a $5,000 lot or a $50,000 lot, but the $50,000 lot is pretty level, and it could end up where the $50,000 lot turns out to be cheaper than the $5,000 lot. It's possible. So you want to protect yourself. Okay, well, we weren't even thinking that. We were just thinking looks, right? Aesthetics. We end up buying a lot at some point. We've looked and we've looked and we've looked. And we looked some more, and we end up looking at a lot that overlooked Lake Lago. Lake Lago is the water source for the village. There are no houses built on the lake. There are houses that back up to the lake, but there's a lot of common property all around the lake because it is the water supply for the village. This also means nobody's on this lake. There's no activity on this lake. There's no fishing. There's no boating. There's no nothing. But it's pretty awesome to look at. And so we buy this lot. And we're now thinking, eventually, when and if we sell our house in Dallas-Fort Worth, we'll build a house over here. And simultaneously, I'm thinking, we might build a bedroom suite. We might build a short-term rental bedroom suite like we like to rent. Didn't have any interest in, we'll build a house and we'll rent the whole thing out, and when we want to come over, we'll take it off the. Wasn't thinking that. Was thinking a house that we could move into, where we'd split our time as we currently are between Texas and the village, and in addition have a bedroom suite. Maybe kind of generate some revenue, offset expenses, blah blah blah. I've talked about our finances and how we're pretty fanatical at cash flowing life. No debt is kind of our mantra. So that's what we're thinking. And we're juggling this, and we go out, and anytime that we're in the village and when we're back in DFW and we're walking and we're talking and we're brainstorming this, and I was getting pretty pumped about it. I was getting pretty pumped about building a place that might have a bedroom suite. And then I talked myself into, it might be smart to have two, right? I mean, come on. If one's good, two's got to be better. And so I'm thinking of all this. And meanwhile, there is a considerable amount of foreign, and I don't mean foreign as in foreign country, but I mean outside investors who were buying some properties in here because people were discovering that this is a pretty spectacular place. The number of short-term rentals went up considerably, and I'm fanatical about customer experience. And so for me, this was not going to be some passive income endeavor. This was going to be work. And I've got work. I do executive and leadership coaching, and I love it. And so I started having some second thoughts as far as the short-term rental stuff goes, and thinking, I got other stuff I do. I don't know that I want to get up in the morning and clean a bedroom suite and do laundry and do that. I'm perfectly happy and willing to do that, but I got other things that I'm doing that frankly can generate more income and is way more rewarding. So I'm starting to think that, but I'm keeping my eye on Realtor.com and Zillow, and I'm particularly paying close attention to brand new houses. So we've come out of the pandemic. Of course, all the products have gone up in price. Lumber packages and everything's gone up because of COVID. And I'm looking at these new houses. I'm not looking at them to buy. We've got a lot, but I'm thinking at some point we may build on this lot. I wonder what that's going to cost us. So I'm kind of tracking prices, and I continue to look at these new houses. And about now, we have decided we're going to sell the home place in DFW, and we are going to move into an apartment. We just kind of want to change things up. We feel like the timing is right to sell the house, that if we wait too much longer, we may miss kind of an opportune window. And let's go ahead and sell. The house, we've been in the house 25 years. The house was built back in the early 80s. Could it use some updating? Of course. Had we done a considerable amount of updating? We had. But you're talking a larger house. It wasn't 3,000 square feet, but it was pushing that. A swimming pool, a nice, not a hoity-toity, but a perfectly nice, lovely neighborhood. Big trees, big yard. A lot of work. So we were ready to sell, and we thought, let's move into an apartment. Now you'd think, okay, well, you're an old couple, so surely, y'all have had apartment living. Yeah, not really. Not really. I mean, we got married and we moved into married housing at LSU, and fairly quickly, my dad was in real estate. Fairly quickly, we bought a little frame house in a perfectly nice little neighborhood, and our bills were nothing. So we never really did that young couple in an apartment kind of life. And we had our eyes on this apartment complex that was kind of urban. We're not talking downtown Dallas or Fort Worth, but not necessarily suburban. Just a different way to live. And we were kind of pumped about that. So we made a deal there. We had our house on the market. We got a contract on the house. We are 2 weeks away from closing on our house and moving to this apartment. I'm still looking at Realtor.com and Zillow, and I'm paying attention to these new houses, and I see one house in particular. I have no idea where this house is. Inside Hot Springs Village. It's got good curb appeal. It looks good to me. You can tell it has been virtually, that is, it's a computer-generated staging that's happened, and it looks perfectly lovely. It's been on the market for a little while, which I didn't understand. And I'm immediately thinking, there's probably something wrong with it. But the builder had just lowered the price. And I thought, okay. Now it's getting down to a price that I'm thinking, I don't think I could build a house for that. I'm not sure, but something tells me, I bet you I couldn't build a house for that. This is a brand new house, never been sold before. It's got good curb appeal. I don't know anything about the neighborhood. I don't know anything about the floor plan. All I can see is the photographs and the description that's been put on this thing. And the real estate agency that has it is Trademark. Rick Marshall, friend of the show. Lori and Ken Henderson, friends and sponsors of the show. Full disclosure. I call up Rick and I said, you guys have a listing. I don't know anything about this house. I'm real curious about this house. He said, yeah, no problem. He says, Sunday, Liz and I will go to church and we'll kind of do a video tour for you. I'll go. He said, I don't know. I haven't been in that house. So they came over and they did a video, and he got a floor plan, or the layout, not a full detail floor plan, but a layout plan. And he sent that to us. And it checked boxes. Now, days before that, I showed it to Rhonda online. And I said, come look at this house that's on the market. I said, tell me why we should make a run at this thing. So we sold our house in Dallas-Fort Worth for X. And this house was X minus a considerable amount of money. Okay, so that's important to the story, because it goes back to how I began this whole thing with, you are likely in an economy, wherever you are. I don't care if you're up north. I don't care if you're out west. I don't care if you're back east. I don't care if you're in Florida. I don't care if you're in Arizona. You are likely in an economy simply because you're probably coming from a bigger city where real estate costs are higher than they are here in Arkansas, and specifically here in Hot Springs Village. That was the case for us. So I show her this house and I said, take a look at this and tell me why we might not should make a run at this. Completely blindsided her. She had no idea. She had never laid eyes on this thing before. And she looked it over for a few minutes and she said, yeah, I mean, why not? So now Rick and Liz come and they walk through and they do the video tour and they give us the layout and we take a look at it and we figure out, we think we know why it might have been a little hard sell. But those things that might not quite be copacetic for some were pretty ideal for us. And so it's not like, okay, well, we're just looking for a deal. We're just looking for a bargain and any old bargain will do. No. We were looking for an ideal place. And so he calls us and tells us all this, and we think about it for probably not more than a day. And we make an offer. Now we're going to be cash buyers because we're going to close on our house. It was going to be on a Friday, and we were now about 10 days away. And so we're like, okay, we have a contract. We are set to close on our house on this date. We're going to make an offer. We'll be cash buyers, and we can close on Monday, following the Friday that we close in Dallas-Fort Worth. And that was our offer. And the only real caveat was my son is a home inspector, has his own company. Shout out to True Vision Property Inspection. And I wanted to bring him over. His name is Ryan. I wanted to bring Ryan over and let Ryan lay eyes on it. And I kind of wanted to see it. But we made the offer contingent only on the inspection. And we came over, and Ryan spent about 4 hours looking the thing over and gave us a passing grade. And now we're set to close. We close on our house in Dallas-Fort Worth on a Friday. We move immediately into the apartment on Friday and Saturday. We go to church on Sunday, and then we drive over to Hot Springs. No, we don't drive over. We drive over Monday morning, early. And we close late morning here in Hot Springs Village. Shout out to Marla Caldwell. And I just went brain dead on the title company. I should know this. Hang on, it's Advantage, I think. It is. It's Advantage. Advantage Title and Escrow. There. I'll show you that. There's Marla. There's all of her contact information. So shout out to her. And it was a great experience. We close on the house. We did a quick walkthrough right before the close. And close on the house, and then we hoof it back to DFW. First time that Rhonda had ever laid eyes on the house. She'd never seen the house. So we buy and close a house, and she hadn't seen it. Husbands, see if you can pull that off. Now, all the while, we are contemplating retirement age. And retirement age for us meant, when do you qualify for full retirement age? So when can you kind of maximize your Social Security? And you're probably thinking the same thing if you haven't hit it already. And you're thinking, well, do I go ahead and collect it when I turn like 62? Do I wait until I hit whatever full retirement age is for me? Or do I wait until 70 when I can, kind of supermax the thing? For us, we decided, well, let's wait till full retirement age, which for us was 66 and a half. And so we knew that was coming up fairly quick, and we were going to hit that. Hitting 65 was the other big mile marker. because then you qualify for Medicare. And we got an additional plan so that we could keep our doctors and all that good stuff. And so I'm mapping out all these numbers and I'm thinking all this stuff and we're kind of planning all this. And meanwhile, we're both, we're working and I've got my business and the podcast is going and, there's a considerable amount of time spent trying to tell this story about this place that we love so much. And while I'm on it, I will tell you that there were two compelling reasons for starting this show, and they are still in play. One, I had a bunch of questions. I got a bunch of questions. I'm real curious about this place. We're talking about a place that was established June the 1st, 1970. And there was a reason that I started this podcast on June the 1st, 2021. Well, June the 1st was important, but 2021 just happened to be the time. So this coming June 1st, Hot Springs Village will celebrate 55 years. 55 years. And I'd never heard of this place. And for 35 years, I've been 5 hours away. And I've talked to other people who lived in Little Rock who say, listen, we were 40 minutes away and we'd never heard of the place. So those are the two compelling reasons. I had curiosity about the place. I loved it. And number two, I wanted to share it. I wanted to share it. It wasn't one of those things where I wanted to kind of put my arms around it, like kids used to do in school so you wouldn't cheat off of them. I wasn't trying to keep it for myself. I was like, how have I not heard about this place? This place is awesome. I love this place. The experiences are always great. People are always friendly, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So we go back home. We've moved into the apartment. Then we get all the other stuff that wasn't going to go in the apartment. We already had it kind of segmented. We knew what was going to go where. And hire people that, is it Tetris? It looked like, a big game of Tetris trying to pack this truck. And they did a masterful job. And then I drive the truck over here and we unload and here we are. And that's our story. That's how we got here. I'd love to tell you that it was all very strategic. It ended up being strategic, but the plan was never, let's go rent a place and let's go spend a weekend in 2018 in this place that we've never heard of. And it might be the place where we want to end up. It was not even remotely a thought. Not a thought. But I will tell you that for us, with 5 grandkids back in Dallas-Fort Worth and family and a church situation that is critically important to us, a congregation where we have been part of for 35 years, all of that stuff was really compelling for us to maintain a Texas presence. So the goal for us was never, okay, we're going to go pot committed and we're just going to, we'll be full-time in Hot Springs Village. We're about as full-time as you can get without being full-time. I'll tell you that, because we're here a lot. We're in Texas a lot, and it's all good. But that's us. The Ozarks were never going to happen. I hear from a lot of you. Okay, maybe that's an overstatement. I hear from a number of you who are going to make you're going to make a trek into Arkansas, and you're going to check out Northwest Arkansas. You should. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. It's different than here, but it's perfectly lovely, and it may very well be your cup of tea. It was never going to be a cup of tea for us for two big reasons. One, too far away from Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth, where family is, church, and other things that matter to us. And winters are dramatically more severe than here. And I'm just, snow and ice, you can just keep those. I'm a Southern boy. I'm not interested in those. Okay, for a day or two, yeah, maybe. But I'm not interested in being snowed in for a week. No. Does it happen? Yes, it can happen here. Is it common? No. Is it more common up in the northern part of the state? It is. It is. You start getting close to the Missouri border, up there where northwest Arkansas beauty is found, and yeah, it's different. This is why I continue to say you do you. You need to just follow your own sensibilities and your own instincts and your own practicality and behave with intentionality and purpose and get what you want. Get what you want. We have lived all of our lives to get to this point where we can at least kind of, sort of do what we want, maybe for the first time in our life. And I think for many of us, that's daunting. It's like, I'm not even sure. We haven't spent, too many of us, I don't think, have spent enough time thinking about, okay, well, I mean, if I'm left to my own devices, what do I want and where do I want? And it's really intriguing to me to talk to many of you and find out your story and hear your journey, because all of our journeys, yes, there are things that are in common. I think many of us share that whole thing of hitting 65 and the Medicare thing and then the Social Security thing and fretting over, okay, the dollars. Are we going to have enough dollars to live the life that we want to live? And, and we pray that the money lasts as long as our lives do. And there are a lot of issues like that. And then add on top of that, for many of us, thankfully, Rhonda and I, knock on wood, so far have been blessed with good health. But many of you have health challenges and struggles, and that's common for we older folks. So growing old is not for the faint of heart, and we all know that. So we want to maximize, this time. We want to get this right. We just want to get this right. And I want you to get this right. And if Hot Springs Village is getting it right for you, I want you to get it right. And if it's not, I want you to get it right. There's plenty of other places where folks are going. Rick Marshall and I did a real estate update on a house that's on a lake, a 25-acre lake here, a lovely house, great view. And they are going to move to a retirement community in Arizona. At this stage of their older life, that's what this man and woman want. And they're going to miss the village, and there's things about the village they're going to miss, but they're kind of excited about this new journey. I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome. This isn't a competition. Hot Springs Village, we're not trying to put Hot Springs Village out there to compete with anything, because it may not be ideal for you. But if you'll come and visit, it just might be exactly what you're looking for. It was for us. That's our journey, and that's our story. And I hope it helps you in trying to figure out your journey. Randy Cantrell, the website is HSV. That stands for Hot Springs Village. HSV, insideout.com. Thanks for click and play. Thanks for watching Hot Springs Village Inside Out. You'll find all our episodes at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com or on YouTube.